Welcome back to Passionate World Talk Radio. Educate, enlighten, entertain. And this afternoon on Cool Your Heels with Lillian, our special guest is Jennifer Rhodes, and she's come to speak to us about what grandparents can do to keep in touch with their grandkids during the C virus. So, good afternoon, Jennifer. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's very important that grandparents keep in touch with their grandkids. I got three, identical twins and a little one at 6, and I demand FaceTime at least twice a week.
Well, that's wonderful. Not so many grandparents are as fortunate to be in touch that often, and so that's why we're here. I
Oh,
actually created Grandy myself to solve the problem that I wanted to have my kids talk to my mother more often.
that is terrific. So, what are some of the things that you suggest to grandparents of all ages of how to stay connected with their grandkids?
Well, I think that it's really important in this day and age that we meet them where they are, and that nowadays is really on technology, um, especially right now when we have so many grandparents who are sheltering in place to protect against the virus. We really have that distance more than ever. And so it's a fertile time for us to jump on the bandwagon with technology and start using it to connect with the grandkids. Nowadays kids are consumed with rapidly changing forms of communication and connection. And rather than expect them to change their ways, what we're doing at Grandy is saying, okay, well, we'll meet them where they are and we'll form a bond in a manner that they're accustomed to.
Now, one of the articles I've read recently say that grandparents who have a close connection with their grandkids and involve in their lives make their grandkids better people, better adults.
Well, absolutely. And, that relationship between the elder and the child is incredibly important for both parties. The studies have identified what psychologists call the intergenerational identity theory, which holds that kids who have a close affinity with a grandparent have higher self esteem, lower rates of anxiety, lower rates of depression. And they think that that's because there's something really important about having that sense of lineage and connection that provides some stability. And, especially for adolescents, it's important to have someone besides your parents who you can talk to in an intimate way.
I agree. I mean, the identical twins are 13, so they don't have much time for grandma anymore. However, they do say hello and they do say goodbye.
Well, my kids were the same way, and I could see them, however, communicating with their friends and even, people who they might not even have that close of an affinity with frequently on their devices. And so what we're doing at Grandy is creating an environment where kids and grandparents can come together online. And what we do is have virtual visits that are scheduled. So, for example, my daughter has a visit with my mother every week. It's scheduled, it's in the calendar, and it's set up in the platform. And so they both log on at the same time and they do an activity together. They happen to enjoy crocheting. So my mother crochets, she taught my daughter how to do it. And so now they do a video chat while they're crocheting, and the platform has some conversation starters built in, because that's one of the other things that we found from kids. Sometimes they don't know what to talk about. And, they have lost a little bit of the art of the conversation with this generation, but, we're working on that. And so they can enjoy that time together and stay active while they're spending that time together and having a conversation. Now, my son, who's a bit younger, he also has a date with my mom every week on the platform, and they play the game of the week. So in our platform, every week we release a game, and that gives them an opportunity during their video chat to also stay busy. So in the same way you would traditionally play a board game together, you can go online and play a game together, and it ends up being quality time.
Absolutely. I mean, when my grandson has FaceTime with me, besides turning me upside down all the time on the cell phone, and so I turn him upside down. He's 7, so he's at that cute age. But the fact of the matter is, what he does is he's learning Spanish. So what he does is we play a game, and he says, "I've hidden something, grandmother. What is it?" And then he spells it out, or he gives me clues, and I have to answer him. But when he does it and I tell him I've hidden something, I give him clues. He has to give me the real answer and spell it in Spanish. And as
That's
a
wonderful.
result, he's getting a lot better at Spanish and I'm still on the bottom. But it's really good practice, and I'll tell you something, it's a fun game. He loves it. And we play it. We were on the phone for 10 or 15 minutes and he doesn't get tired where or bored, I guess is the best way, because when you just regularly talk to the grandkids, they get bored and then they start moving around, so you get kind of dizzy when you're talking to them on the screen.
Absolutely. And so, we really encourage grandparents to think about things that they're passionate about, skills, hobbies, and use this as an opportunity to share that with your grandchild. There's so many things that we can pass down and that are really valuable to the kids. And so we see grandparents on the platform who are cooking and sharing recipes, and so they just make sure that the grandkids have all the ingredients in advance, and then they spend that time, cooking something or a music lesson. If there's an instrument that the grandparent plays, they can set it up so they send, a book of music lessons, and they spend that time together doing the lessons. They can do arts and crafts, read a storybook. So, there are all kinds of things that we traditionally think of doing in person that we can actually do, on the platform. And the platform also gives you an opportunity to exchange messages and save photos and videos. And it's really, a holistic place for you to meet online with them and save those memories and create those memories.
So is this an app that people can download onto their cell phone or tablet?
Yes, so you would go to www.grandy.com and you can use the platform on any computer, tablet, mobile device. So you can use it on the web as well as download it as an app, which is really important because oftentimes you might want to do something like this on your desktop or on your laptop, and so it's available on all devices.
And this is available then worldwide, so people with different languages and different cultures can also pick up on it and stay in touch with their grandkids.
Well, we started here in the United States, and so it's really designed for an American audience right now. But we definitely plan on expanding into other countries as well.
Have you had anybody from the closed schools, any of the teachers maybe approach you for a way that they can use your platform to connect with their students and continue some of their educational courses that way?
Well, absolutely. And in fact, we have a program through schools for fourth through ninth graders that is called GrandFriend Connect. And it's an intergenerational learning program that we've designed a curriculum for teachers who can use the platform to do an activity with their students, and their students would connect with a grandparent or a grandfriend. And one of the activities that we have on our platform is what we call Life Stories. And so the student is able to use the platform to interview the grandparent and memorialize their answers and upload photos and create a report of the grandparent's life story on whatever topic it is that they're talking about. And that's also saved into the platform. And for the teachers, they use this as a communication exercise and an educational exercise that can focus on different topics as well, such as culture or immigration. And so they've really enjoyed that.
I would think so, because I know that a lot of schools formally invited grandparents to come in and volunteer at the schools, and for the grandparents to share their life experiences or their jobs with the kids, and but also more importantly come in and help these kids if they had trouble in writing or in doing math, or they need some help with science. Is Grandy set up to also do that?
Well, absolutely. You really can customize your visits in any way you'd like. We have parents and grandparents who use this for tutoring. You can have a grandparent on one end who's helping a child with homework, or even, babysitting. Parents are very busy right now working from home and trying to keep the kids busy. And so you can set up your weekly date or your daily date with a grandparent and meet online on the platform at the same time and have that scheduled activity.
Now, this is a free platform. You don't have to pay for different packages for a membership level?
No, this is a membership-based platform, and so we have subscriptions in different levels. But right now, in light of the crisis that we're facing, we are offering it for free for a month so that the older adults who are sheltering in place have an opportunity to use it and connect with their grandchildren and their loved ones.
So there then is basically for grandparents and adults. It doesn't mean that a kid at 10 or 12 or even 15 can come on and buy a subscription, I guess, unless they have their parents' permission?
Exactly. And so it is designed for kids to use, but the initial enrollment into the membership is typically done by a parent or a grandparent, and we need, the appropriate permission from the parent so that the kids can use the platform, and they would establish that membership.
Very good. So tell everybody exactly where it is again, Jennifer. So if they didn't hear you the first time, they'll hear you this time. And make sure that the grandparents who are out there understand how easy it is to come and sign up on your platform.
Wonderful. We're at www.grandy, and that's Grandy with a Y, GRANDY.com. And we look forward to having you all on the platform.
Terrific. One other question. If they are running any type of educational courses, do they have any credits given to them for the work that they are done? Or how do they work that, or don't you do that at all?
So this is something, the educational component is typically done through the teacher. So the teacher would go on to Grandy and decide that he or she wants to use our curriculum in their classroom, and they would adopt it and implement it in their classroom with their students, and they would give their students credit for it.
And does this also date that when the kids take the course, they are considered, they finish it, and then they are able to go from third grade to fourth grade, for example, or is that up to the jurisdiction of the school and the teacher?
Well, it's not a comprehensive curriculum in terms of affording a child a full grade and, every topic. This is really just a component of the teacher's overall curriculum for the year.
Okay. I just want to make that clear because I know a lot of parents are anxious about their kids being in fifth grade for the next 2 years, or somebody who's supposed to be graduating for high school and they have to wait 2 years before the quarantine is off. So I want everybody to understand just what Grandy does offer, so there's no confusion for when you as an adult or grandparent sign up to become part of the platform?
Yes, it's a great way for parents in that situation to afford their kids an opportunity to do something different online and connecting with a grand friend or a grandparent when they maybe otherwise wouldn't have.
Could this also be used by the Big Brothers and the Big Sister programs?
It really can be used by any type of matching program. One of the things that we're also doing is what we call one for one. And so for every family who purchases a membership, we match a solo older adult with a student. So, there are so many students who don't have a grandparent or a grandfriend who is available to do the Grandfriend Connect program with them in their schools. And likewise, there are so many older adults who don't have grandkids. And so we work with nonprofit organizations to match the students with elders, and they can do the program together as well.
So that would apply to anybody who's a foster student or maybe a foreign exchange student who've been stranded here, or somebody who is homeless and needs somebody to really relate to and talk to.
Absolutely. Or, just a student whose grandparents have passed potentially.
Excellent. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is Jennifer Rhodes, and she started an organization called Grandy, and it's a platform membership. And you're trying to figure out ways to do with your grandchildren while parents do some work from home. This is a terrific way of everybody winning.
Well, great. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. And you can hear this interview all over again at https://passionateworldtalkradio.com. Right-hand side of the page, a menu, scroll down, Cool Your Heels with Lillian. You can also hear it on Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, iHeart, Facebook, LinkedIn, Spreaker, Podcast Chaser, and all the other social media networks. And before you go away, let me tell you, if you're digitally challenged, there is something called a Sizzle line. It's a phone line. Put in the numbers, and the recording of the MP3 comes around immediately. Novalis had this to say: in the late 18th century, poetry heals the wounds inflicted by reason. Oh, we need a lot of poetry then. Thank you all very much for listening, and remember, stay healthy. Thank you.